You can refer to me as Mr. M. I got a job at the municipality through a competition. I never thought I'd get it, but the good salary and short working hours made the offer tempting. Unfortunately for me, the position they offered was as a gravedigger. I was about to turn it down when the interviewer mentioned how much I could earn. It was a much higher figure than an office position. On top of that, they offered an additional bonus under the concept of hazard pay, which added 25% more to the salary, not to mention family benefits. To cut the story short, I signed the contract and started my career as a gravedigger. I must say, it's neither a pleasant nor a desirable job. Not only do you have to deal with the smell of decaying human flesh most of the time and fight off huge rats daily, but you also face the grief of the deceased's relatives. The average person attends 2 or 3 funerals in their lifetime. How would your mind handle seeing 4 or 5 funerals every day with their dose of weeping, pain, and tragedy? The way I dealt with it was by not taking it too seriously, plus alcohol, which later became my downfall. In our crew, there was a colleague we called the Mute, but not because he didn't talk, rather because he never stopped talking. He drank more than the rest of us combined and loved pulling pranks on us and on the cemetery visitors. One day, he placed a very realistic rubber rat on a grave that a widow visited every month. He hid it behind the flowers, waiting for the woman to find it when she came to replace them. The poor lady let out a chilling scream as she ran for help. We watched the whole thing from afar. The Mute stifled his laughter and approached the woman to offer his help. The widow, grateful, gave him a generous sum of money, which he later spent on beer while retelling the story with laughter. I wanted to think that deep down, he wasn't such a bad person, but soon I realized otherwise. One day, while in the office, I felt a horrible pain in my back when I jumped from my seat. The Mute had put tacks on my chair. He was laughing hysterically as I writhed in pain. From that day on, I knew he was unbearable, and that sooner or later his pranks would end badly. Later on, other colleagues also complained that they were sick of his pranks, but no matter how many times we told him to stop, he ignored us. One morning, one of my coworkers arrived furious because he had found a dried human hand in his backpack. His wife had discovered it, and you can't imagine the horror it caused. It was then that we started thinking about how many times the Mute had done similar things to us without us even realizing. We were fed up and decided we would teach him a lesson at the first opportunity. We agreed that each of us would pull a prank on him. I got my chance and took it. My prank was nothing compared to his, but I decided to go through with it anyway. That day, we were supposed to clean some graves for the next service. Usually, we would get inside with cleaning products to do the job. I gave the others a signal for the Mute to go in first. One of my coworkers said, "You go first. You're the shortest." He knelt down, removed the aluminum lid, and climbed down into the grave to clean up the human remains, rats, and other disgusting things. We all stayed quiet. I approached the lid and kicked it hard with my shoe. The sound was much louder than I expected, almost like a gunshot. The Mute got so scared that he jumped inside the grave, and since the space was so small, he hit the back of his head hard on the ceiling. We heard his body hit the ground and everything went silent. We looked at each other and saw that the Mute's feet weren't moving. We started to worry. "Hey, Mute! Stop playing! It was just a joke, come out!" we called to him. But he didn't answer. The Mute wasn't just pretending to be dead, he was dead, maybe in the most fitting place. The horror I felt at that moment is indescribable. I had killed someone. I didn't know what to do. We told the others to pull him out of the grave, and we saw that he had a deep wound on the back of his head. We called an ambulance, but before it arrived, we made a pact. We would say that he saw a rat, got scared, and accidentally hit his head. That was the pact of silence that I am breaking now by telling you this story. I quit my job 6 months later. I couldn't stay there any longer. I lost all contact with my coworkers. Recently, driven by guilt, I searched for the Mute's family on social media. I found his son's profile, and on the anniversary of his death, he posted, "We miss you, Dad.